You know, I've always wondered, what exactly about this man, Peter Obi, that gets everybody worked up, that makes everybody want to become evil, that makes everybody wants to become, the most heinous and hideous person that I can ever describe. For starters, I thought they said Peter Obi came a distant third and poses no threat to any government. Why is it Peter Obi? Why is it always Peter Obi? It's so bad to the extent now that the Tinubu government has employed a lot of social media trolls to begin to change narratives, to begin to give you narratives, and these narratives are aimed to either discourage you or either to accept the fact that we have been captured and there's nothing we can do about it, and to give you the narrative also is to make Tinubu look like a god that cannot be touched. That's not true. Some of these narratives that I have jotted down is like, one, that Peter Obi is weak. I don't know where they got that in from. For a man who is resolute, who has principles, who has confidence, last time I checked, the character of a man is not judged by his skin or color or race or region, but by the content of his character. How do you describe a man who has astute character being weak? A man who stands firmly by his decision. I don't describe that person as weak. I describe that person as firm. Even at that, the strong ones like Buhari and Tinubu that have led this country, to where have they led this country with their strength? So don't be deceived. They said Tinubu cannot be removed. For me, Tinubu is the easiest president that can be removed. We just need the will of the people coming together to remove him. Yes, he has INEC, yes, he has judiciary, but if the people come together and tell them that whatever you do will be met with grave consequences, Tinubu will be removed. They said if you give Igbos the presidency, they will break this country apart. That's a lie. The Igbos need Nigeria more than Nigeria needs Igbos. So everything they tell you about breaking is just a lie. They that have kept this country together, what kind of country have they given you? A country where you suffer and a police is getting 1,500 after 35 years and a politician is getting 20,000 naira in a month? Is that the Nigeria that you want? No. Is that the Nigeria you want that must remain one? No. They tell you that Obi's followers are reducing. That's a lie. I can tell you that those who didn't vote for Peter Obi did not have now realized and are wiser and they will vote Peter Obi this time. Peter Obi's followers have increased more than it is before. They tell you that the North will not vote for Peter Obi. That's a lie. The North are wiser now. That the ungodly union they have with people that are taking over their land, unaliving them and pushing them away from their farmlands, that relationship will no longer be. Adibo man comes to your place, he doesn't blow himself up, doesn't take over your land, he doesn't tell you that this farmland is my own, he doesn't live in the bush, he comes to the town and stays in town. How is Igbo man a threat to Nigeria? That's a lie. They tell you that Tinubu is saving us from Fulanis, that if not for Tinubu, Fulanis would have wiped out Nigeria. Really? People are still losing their lives every day, and Tinubu is there saying nothing, declaring no state of emergency in states where 200 people were unalive. This is not a country we should call and protect. Now, I am making this video for you to watch out for these narratives. They are there to tell you that Peter Obi is not possible to vote Peter Obi. Atiku is better. It's a lie. Peter Obi is the only man out of the choices we have right now that can actually salvage this country. So don't be fooled. Don't let them arrest your mind or sow doubts in. Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking for. They sow doubts in your mind. Let me tell you the truth. Together with one voice, we can remove these criminals. Together with one resolution, we can remove these criminals. Together with one goal, one purpose, one focus, we will remove this. If we take out religion, tribalism, regionalization of our thoughts, we can remove these criminals. It's as simple. I have created a group, Peter Obi, our president. You will see the link in the comment section. Please note that it is only those who are truly believing that Peter Obi is our president will be members of that group. Join me as we start the journey of rescuing this country from drug lords, criminals, thieves, and looters.
The reality again is that
you see, this is the problem I have with some Nigerians. When somebody says, or they keep saying that Peter Obi is too weak, he can't be president, he's too weak for the job. How is a principled man become a weak man? Peter Obi is a principled man. He works according to the law, and everything should be done based on laws, right? How is a principled man who believes in the rule of law become a weak man? A weak man who successfully ruled Anambra State for 8 years, which, if you are counting the best governor in Nigeria today, you must count Peter Obi. Now, anyways, all those people are just APC sponsors online to just create different narratives. They say whatever they want to say. That is their own. All I know, we are not fighting heavyweight. This is not WWE that you say Peter Obi does not have the strength to fight John Cena. So they are not fighting. This is by law. So anybody is telling you that Peter Obi is this or is that, he or she does not know what they are saying. They are only saying that because of who they are supporting. They have been paid to do that. That's just it. So anyways, I'll leave you with this video. Take your time, listen to this words of wisdom for Dele Farutime. This message is a must watch video. So listen to everything he said on this video. You understand what we are saying. So whichever way angle anybody choosing to look at it, Peter Obi still remain one of the best presidential candidates for Nigeria. Peter Obi still remain the best. So show me another person who is better than Peter Obi among those people bidding for the for presidential ticket. Show me another person who is like him or better than him. Tell us reasons why we should consider that person as an option, because he has power, physical power to fight. So maybe you are preparing to go and fight heavyweight. So that is just it. Now watch this video from Daily Faro TV, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'll be your guy now.
Much as one might seek to ignore these noises, it also, to a very large extent, reflects the reality with which the Nigerian is grappling. So if you really want to feel the pulse, it's easier sometimes to find it on social media. But because the issue to which I wish to address myself this morning did not arise only in the last week, but is something that has crept steadily into our body policy over the years. For decades, it's always been there, but it had never really been as weaponized as it has become in recent times. And I speak specifically to the issue of ethnic bigotry. Religious bigotry, ethnic bigotry, has been part and parcel of our national life for a long time. After all, those who benefit from the ruination of our land and from the atrophy of our society wouldn't have been able to do this if we would ever understand the commonalities of our afflictions. So both for those who colonized us and more or less treated us like animals, even those who enslaved us long before the British ever darkened these shores, and I speak to the Arabs, they never really saw us as humans. And we have also reinforced this by the way we have treated ourselves. We divide ourselves. Oh, the Yorubas are this. Oh, the Igbos are that. Oh, the Fulanis are this. The Ijaws are that. And we go on and on, dividing ourselves into God knows how many useless units, because it becomes useless once it's broken. And because we're divided, we become as prey, very easy to trample upon. Once you can legitimize the oppression of one person on account of their ethnicity or on account of their religion, what actually happens is that you legitimize the oppression of every other person because they kept quiet. If you spoke up when the evil was done to the Yoruba man, it is delegitimized when it is done to you. If you spoke up when it is done to the Igbo man, the evil is delegitimized when it is directed towards you. One of the reasons why you found me weeping when I came out of prison was because I found that when you guys actually decide to act as one, you are irresistible. There is no force in this country that can stop you when you act as one. Case in point, NSAS. What scared them the most was your unity. Christians, Muslims. Christians stood guard while the Muslims prayed. Muslims held ground while the Christians prayed. Nobody has the ethnic identity of the persons who had the various protest grounds, particularly the Lekki toll gate. And I assure you, the soldiers were not waiting to ask what your nationality, ethnic nationality or religion was by the time they got there. How we moved away from the cohesion and allowed ourselves to be weaponized against ourselves, I don't get it. I understand that Bola Tinubu and his people, in the immediate aftermath of the laws of 2023, decided to be very deliberate about dividing the people. But those who are being set against each other are blessed with brains. If the Yorubas or the persons who presume to be Yoruba, who hide behind multiple identities but are merely paid idiots, would come into the public space and seek to turn you, Igbo man who has lived amongst your Yoruba brethren for donkey years, prospered in this land, and then you also respond with the same level of toxicity with which the person who is paid to spread hatred has attacked you, what then happens? We've all descended into this toxic environment where instead of talking about real issues that affect all of us, instead of talking about these real issues, we have been reduced to discussing bus stops. Bus stops. We will all get to a final bus stop someday. And I really hate to think that when I get to that final bus stop, the most consequential argument in which I have been engaged is in the one talking about the merit of naming or not naming bus stops and streets. These are dog whistles. Dog whistles. They do these things in order to rile you up and get you to ignore the real issues. There are no good Yoruba men or bad Yoruba men, good Igbo men or bad Igbo men. We are either good men or bad men. You know, the funniest part of this unfortunate tragicomedy, nobody gives two monkeys about your nationalities outside the shore of this country. Once you are outside Nigeria, you're just not Nigerian. That you have defined the Nigerian in your negative terms for the world, they are not going to be knowing whether you are Igbo or Yoruba. And if they ask if you are Igbo because you successfully successfully demarcated that ethnic nationality. Even when you tell them that you are not Igbo, they wouldn't believe you. You're just another Nigerian. And when you say the Yoruba is a cannibalist or whatever you guys also say to each other when you're all being stupid, remember, we don't care whether you are not Yoruba. You're just another Yoruba, another Nigerian, I mean to say. We're all in this damn boat together and it's sinking. And instead of focusing on rescuing our boat, or at least coming off the boat in an orderly manner so that we don't all perish, we're busy. Very busy rearranging deck chairs on a sinking ship, conveniently forgetting that when it comes down to it, we all carry that same green passport. I was reading the experience of some brother who had to transit through El Salvador, and he told me, I read that. He said, just because you carry a Nigerian passport, as well as other African countries and India, you get to pay an extra, I think, $1,500 in transit visa fee. What have we done that we are haunted everywhere we go? And then in our own country, it is beyond our capacity. Beyond our capacity. Think about that. To find cohesion. Allah led the Yorubas, and we became known as the most egalitarian of nationalities in Nigeria. Our fall from grace has been huge. The higher you are, the farther you fall when you do fall. Yorùbá ronú, a ní láti ronú. Iṣẹ́ ìrònú òpònú tó ń pè sí, a ní láti ronú láti mú wa lọ sóko ẹrú. There are enough reasons to wail when you look around Nigeria. The educational system is dead. It's unfit for purpose. Nobody who can truly afford it allows their children to go to school in Nigeria, not even me. And that is not an act of unpatriotism. If I had ever been in government and I failed to do something about it, you can point your fingers in my direction at that point. But the reality is that the system has been destroyed. The teachers are even more illiterate than the illiterates they are graduating. And the quality of minds that are being graduated is reflected in the kind of society that we have built. You go to healthcare institutions abroad and you find Nigerian doctors, Nigerian nurses, Nigerian healthcare professionals who are no longer able to abide our system. You find them everywhere all over the world. But our healthcare delivery system, dead. Drugs, fake. Everything, fake. I was trying to plug the lighting system this morning, and I found that each and every one of these adapters, fake. Oh yeah, you usually step right back and point at those you prefer to blame for your woes. There is an organization in Nigeria. It's known as the Standard Organization of Nigeria. Its job, which is why it's at every port of entry, is to ensure that only the best of material meeting a particular standard enters Nigeria. And its job is not done until it has certified such things fit or unfit for the Nigerian market. It exists at the port. But of course, like every Nigerian institution, it has been corrupted and is of no use or value. From NAFDAC to Standard Organization of Nigeria, every institution destroyed by greed, impunity. And when we draw attention to it, they are whalers. It is more convenient to blame those who import. And yes, we all know the tribe that imports, that nationality, just blame them, instead of focusing on the failure of the Standard Organization of Nigeria. Oh yeah, let's blame them too for all the bad drugs in the market, since they are the ones who manufacture, they are also the ones who sell whore. There is no NAFDAC. Oh yes, in NAFDAC, only one nationality or religiosity is represented. What we should admit as clear evidence of national failure and putrefaction will reduce. And those who speak, they are the wailing wailers. There are enough reasons to wail in our country. I traveled around America on this my last trip. I went a distance of over 2,000 miles round trip from Vegas to Illinois. I didn't find any no potholes on the road. I saw many cows, but I found no headsmen. I saw policemen in their cars on the road, the highway patrol, the federal highway patrol, state highway patrol. I did not at any point find a checkpoint. Yeah, no checkpoint. But I come back into my country and these basics have been reduced to slogans. You'll find an idiot commissioning road. You'll find brainless governors commissioning bridges. The descent into madness has been so rapid as to be scary. But those who speak are labeled wailing wailers. When are you going to start wailing? When? Exactly when are you going to start wailing? Those who watch are singled out for oppression by government and derision by fellow victims. Deliberate wailers. If there will be more wailers, we will stop having solos, and then we'll have a chorus. And then perhaps those who have been able to block their ears in order not to hear the cries will then hear us. People will not wail. But now, instead of wailing as a collective, we're too busy speaking in discordant tones, majoring in the minuses. You should be wailing if you were thinking. The refusal to wail is an indictment on the self. It questions your ability to introspect, to actually look at the reality of your everyday existence. If you're in my own age bracket, for instance, I'm 57 now, my youth is gone. It is a painful thing for me to find that the best days of the country into which I was born are behind. It's scary. And it's actually made it that much more difficult to convince the children that there is hope in Nigeria. Or they point to the diaspora remittances as evidence of success. It's not. These are people who have had to flee the promised land. This is the promised land. They have had to flee in order to survive. But they still can't forget the land they left behind. And that is why they kept coming back, bringing their substance to help those that they have left behind, so that they will not be truly left behind. Exactly what it is about all. What is it that makes it so difficult for us to find the commonalities and then begin to wail as a collective? How? Exactly how is it that you avoid wailing if you are not part of those who are benefiting from this evil? How do you avoid wailing? Wailing wailers? That you are not wailing is merely indicative of your inability to be conscious. Allah don't get ready. When you join your oppressor in oppressing your fellow victims, you only increase your own oppression and you legitimize same. What is stopping you from wailing? What is it that is stopping you from speaking to your own pain? If you wouldn't even speak to your friend's pain, if you wouldn't speak to your neighbor's pain, what is it that is stopping you? Exactly what stops you from wailing? You know what they say about the silence of the lamb? The silence of the lamb victimizes it. If it would wail, if it would open his mouth to shout or to screech or to scream or even bark in the manner of the dog, perhaps they would have spared the lamb. When are you people going to wail? Exactly when? Even if you can't fight, the least you can do is to wail. What has silenced you? Is it religion? Or they told you should pray? Oh yeah, you should also fast. But have you asked your pastors if fasting and praying is what has built the church? The redeemed camp didn't get built by fast and pray. No. People worked. Men worked. Angels didn't come down to build the auditorium. The beautiful edifice I'm told is being built in Canaan land today, the largest auditorium for worship. It's not been built by angels. Nobody has descended from heaven to come and do anything. All that has happened is that men have been mobilized, energized, and directed to purpose. What is the purpose to which you have been directed? They'll tell you go and be fasting and be praying. The people asking you to fast and pray are sat every day with your oppressors and your owners, and they have nothing to say to them beyond asking for their own cut of the pie. What has stopped you from wailing? Oh, the person being oppressed is from the other ethnic nationality, so it's okay. Let them do what they will with it. And dear brothers and sisters, whether the victim is Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, or whatever, as long as they are Nigerian, the template for your own oppression and victimization has been prepared in your very before. And as you have applauded, you are legitimizing it by the time it will be done to you. That is just the reality. The reality. But you see, it is all well and good to wail. But we have to move beyond wailing. Let me rephrase that so that you may hear me. It is all well and good to wail. But at some point, we are going to have to move beyond wailing. In this regard, I must commend the efforts of my brother, Randy Peter. Well done. What you're doing is phenomenal. I wish I could, but I'm sapped of energy after all these years. And I thank God for the likes of you who have continued to wail, even as they have continued to block their ears. The wailers must go beyond wailing. And going beyond wailing is the point where you say to yourself, this far and no further. I suppose Randy is doing 110%. And I will be speaking with him and others to find out how we may be able to collaborate and help. But make no mistake about it, until such a time as when you move beyond wailing and organize around issues such as electoral reform, and then draw the line in the sand and be prepared to stand behind your demand, until such a time you are not even deserving of freedom. And make no mistake about it, ours is not a pro-democracy fight. It's a liberation struggle. Only citizens vote in elections. Whereas do not exist in democracies. Activists exist in democracies. That's why I always tell you guys, don't call me an activist. I am not an activist. Those who tag themselves activists are either profiting from this system or they misunderstand their purpose. You cannot be an activist when you are not a citizen. Citizens can agitate as activists in order to change their environment and their society. I'm not even a citizen in the place where you are demanding that I should be an activist. The reality is that everybody who rails against this system, truthfully, genuinely, and honestly, whether they realize it or not, they are freedom fighters. They are not activists. This system would kill, imprison, victimize anyone who demands that it changes. Do you understand that? And let me break this down as I close, because I've seen a whole lot of people talking about Tinubu this, Tinubu that. Nonsense. This is not about Tinubu. It goes beyond Tinubu. It's about a system. That system has your hobas, has your hemias, has your obis, your falas. All the traditional system is encompassed within that system that you have to fight. That system includes your hobas. They are beneficiaries from all of this. They are not affected by the evil that they are enabled. You are the ones dividing yourselves. Unite yourselves. Even if you will not unite yourselves around politics, unite yourselves around issues. If the Lagos state government will build good schools, will the Igbo man in Lagos break it down? And how has it prevented Sanwo-Olu from building? How has anybody stopped anybody from building? I speak to Lagos because this is where I live. The reality is that if we will focus on the things that affect all of us, we will see very clearly that our issues are the same, regardless of our ethnicities. But we will not be able to do anything about this until we have political voices, until our votes would count for something. That is probably the easiest road to a peaceful transition in this country. What can the whalers do? We must go beyond whaling. And this is where you come to the point where you have to decide which one you are. You are either going to have to play God or you are going to play dog. You play dog when you call attention to the issues. That's why they call you whalers. Whale. Call attention to the issues. Call attention. Whale. Whale. There's a nuisance that I have to get rid of. I see that he's been causing a whole lot of issues on the platform. So I've removed him. And Steve, I think the guy is called. Now, here is the point. If you do not play dog, which is where you will, then play God. Affect the situation positively. You see a person oppressed and you have the capacity to end his oppression, affect it. That's you playing God. You see evil being done, you can't stop it, but you can call attention to it. By whatever means you have, call attention to it. That is you playing God. No, that is where you play dog. You're calling attention to the evil. Do not become accomplice to evil by being silent. Your silence renders you an accomplice to evil. Whale. It's not a bad thing to be a wailing whaler. It is not. Wail. It is in your wailing that the system does not normalize evil. Evil is normalized in your silence, by your silence. Some of you would explain the evil based on one ethno-religious sentiment or the other. It renders you complicit. If it is evil, regardless of who is doing it or to whom it is done. Subjectivizing the truth silences you. And that is why you legitimize your own silence by labeling those who speak as wailing wailers. When will you start wailing? When we are wailing by your graveside? Is that when you will wail? Or when you have been silenced and unable to speak, either by sleep or by death? When shall you wail? If you look around Nigeria today and you cannot find a reason to wail, it must be because you benefit from this system. Let's go to the back. Wherever we go, home remains home. I've never desired to live anywhere else. But it is painful to be back in this blessed country and to find that the ability to rest, to relax, to enjoy the blessings that God has given us has been diminished by fellow human beings who leave the same country for the place they're coming from, see the good that is there and are not inspired to bring it back, but they keep dividing the people. We're so divided that today you have more Liverpool fans in Nigeria than Nigerians. I support Arsenal, and I have found there are more Arsenal supporters in Nigeria than Nigerians. This is sad, and it indicts all of us. Nobody is free of guilt. Will, by all means. Will. Let history record that you did not become a complice to this evil. It is your acculturation to this evil that has silenced your voice. Find your voice. Join the wailing wailers. There is nothing to invite silence in all of this. As a final word, because I see Fine and others like him who have been busy talking about how dividing Nigeria is the solution, I assure you that if it could be so easily broken, I'll be the first to vote for it. Perhaps that might finally put the lie to those who believe that such simplistic solutions will take away the troubles. It only begins there. They'll break it even more. Our salvation lies in all of us becoming wailing wailers and then moving beyond wailing into acting. But the likes of Randy have invited you to the simplest of actions, a demand for your right to vote as citizens.
Honestly, it's really sad what these people have turned Nigerians into. And it's for their own selfish gain. I always ask this question, how many are these politicians? Among more than 200 million Nigerians, you allow yourself to be used because of, kobo they want to give to you or they are giving to you. If you if we can challenge these people and say, no way, they will run. As you see these people, they can fear. In fact, even their shadow, they are afraid of it because they are evil, they are wicked. They use tribalism, they use religion against us. And they watch you fight yourself. Why they are plucking whatever they are doing. It's so sad. Nigerians, we have to, say no to this. If you don't correct this today, a day will come when I go just wake up. They say, this country now, they say Nigeria, this and that. The giant of Africa is nowhere to be found. At that time, now you go understand, say, these people, they don't really enjoy us. They don't really enjoy us. So guys, they talk, say, here when they hear word, it inside. Not be this one when they flip. The ear when they hear word, it inside. If you don't want to make use of it, good. Election, they don't strategize. See where we dey now, they've not even solved one single problem for Nigerians. All their own now is election. Peter will be this, Peter will be that, Peter will be this and that. What exactly has P2B done? And why are they always talking about P2B when they say P2B is a featherweight? Why is P2B a problem to them? The same person you said, it no matter. You are always talking about him everywhere. Aso Rock have already lose sleep because P2B don't join coalition. Now, they work with people. Nigerians, when are we going to wake up? Even the people who are already in the party, they are already working with them to make sure say they scatter everything. This is bad. We need to wake up to say this. This is bad. So my guys, now I go drop your comment below the comment section. Share this video, make it go viral so that Nigerians can understand what we are into. This is not a joke. Thank you. See you in my next video. Bye for now.